Down. I first want to introduce myself. I'm Jayne Merner, and I have Earth Care Farm in Charlestown, Rhode Island. I'm so excited of this good turnout. I'm really looking forward to meeting everybody and getting to know you all. So far, we bought the property in April, and I'm loving the town. It's so beautiful here, and I'm really excited to get to know everybody here. I'm going to introduce my family. This is my son Cooper, my dad Mike, my mom Betty, and that's my sweetheart, Sterling. He just happens to have the name of the town. And so my family has been farming in Charlestown for 47 years. My dad started the farm back in 1977. And I'm so blessed to have gotten to take it over 8 years ago. And it's a very productive vegetable farm. And our niche is that we make a high quality compost, a really nutrient rich compost that has made growing in our fields really easy and joyful for me. And so, I mean, for 4 decades, my dad built the soil up really beautifully. And now I can just go in there and you guys know I've seen some of the soil in Sterling that's really rich and beautiful and how wonderful that is to grow in. And so it's our mission to enliven the soils of New England. Not every town in New England is blessed with the soils that are here. So I'm going to talk, I'll talk a little bit about our farm here. I just wanted you to see our family and like just the depth of, I come from a farming background. This is just what I do and I absolutely love it.
She was born on the farm.
Born on the farm, yeah, raised there. Thank you guys. So this is our farm. It's in Charlestown, Rhode Island. It's 27 acres, and it's someplace I really hope you get to visit. So next Saturday at 10 o'clock, we're offering a tour for everybody in the town to come see it, get to experience it, so you can see what I hope to create again here. Because we've gotten to a point where the fields are full and bountiful and productive, and we're making as much compost as we can on our 27-acre footprint. And for 2 years, I've been looking for a second site to open a second property. It's just so needed to enrich our soils. And I scoured Rhode Island for 2 years. And then one of my employees actually used to live in Sterling, and he suggested this area. And I found that gravel bank. And as soon as I drove onto it, I felt such a connection to the land and just felt like it was calling me to revitalize it. And it's already, so stripped of everything, the part I want to use. And it just felt like this, I didn't want to take prime farmland to make compost on, but it has those fields, those old fallow cornfields that I could revitalize and grow on. But it has this area that's already stripped that it would be perfect to make compost on. And the scale house and the scale, and it just felt like, oh, this is it. This is the connection. And then I came across the how do I do this? Like I've been in Rhode Island. I'm very well known in Rhode Island. I've worked with the Department of Environmental Management extensively there. I don't know all the rules in Connecticut, so I've been deep diving into that. And so the reason I'm here is part of the process is the Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection requires this environmental justice public participation plan, which I actually think is a beautiful thing. I'm just going to read, it's required that I read this. Anyone who wants to get a permit to build or expand a facility within a designated environmental justice community must first get approval on a plan for engaging the public in this process. So that's what we're doing. We're engaging the public right now before I can even file a permit for an application. This requirement ensures that the affected stakeholders, all of you, have an opportunity to share your input before any projects that have the potential to impact the environment move forward. And so in Connecticut, an environmental justice community is defined by the Connecticut General Statutes as a distressed municipality as designated by the Connecticut Department of Economic and Community Development. And a compost facility in the state of Connecticut is considered a volume reduction facility. And so applying for that permit requires me to have this meeting. But I'm really thrilled to get to do this so that we can connect, and I do want to hear everybody's input and be part of that process. So thank you, state of Connecticut. And if anybody wants to see, this is the tentative approval for this public participation plan. And so that's that. Let's see. So I think I skipped a slide. Yeah, you guys met my dad. The slide was my dad. I think the slide I want to show how deeply rooted I am in the farm community. I know it's Rhode Island, but it is 3/4 of a mile that way. It's not too far, not too foreign. But just how much I love the land, and this picture in particular, my dad. I grew up hearing, in a handful of compost, there's more life, more microorganisms than there are humans on the planet. And as hearing that as a little kid gave me such reverence for the soil, how much life is just in that little bit, and how much reverence I have for land and all creatures, miniature soil life, insects, birds, humans, all of us, we're all part of this one ecosystem. So. All right, so this is, it's hard to see with the lines, but the property down there, it's 241 acres. It's in red here. It consists of the 2 gravel banks, some house lots, some just forest land and things. And I'm proposing the compost operation on the 20 acres that is the first gravel pit when you come in there. Sure. Is that better? Is that okay with the microphone, Rachel?
I think that's fine. And I also want to say, we'll put this map up on our website, on the Sterling Residence page, so you can really zoom in. There's a couple of maps there already, but we'll put this one on today.
We also are recording this, and it will be on the website as well. I don't know if you guys got to check out the website, but this recording will be on that Sterling Residence section. So within the 241 acres, it'll be a proposed 20-acre compost facility with a lot of buffer area. So a lot of buffer area between us and any neighbors, the state forest, any of those things.
I put the mic right in front of the screen.
So this is the proposal, and we can go to the next slide. This is the proposed layout of that 20 acres, which is modeled completely on what we currently are doing at Earth Care Farm in Charlestown. Very similar flow, where we have the trucks coming in, getting weighed at the scale house, coming in and dropping leaves and wood chips in this area. And then, so I didn't really talk about compost, but I guess we'll dive into it a little bit now. And you guys feel free to ask questions. We have a long part of this will be for questions at the end. And to make a rich compost, besides just leaves and wood chips, we'd like to take in food scraps and animal manures very conscientiously and carefully, with an emphasis on a carbon to nitrogen ratio of 30:1. So it's, diluted nutrient there. But so we'd have trucks coming in, dropping here, dropping food scraps here, getting mixed. And then we have a long maturing process. And then we'll have our sales area down here. All pretty compact on that, what's already a gravel bank. Many of you have seen it. If you haven't, we will have a tour there eventually. We have nothing to show right now. But yes, so right there, I think we can go to the next slide, Rachel. So I didn't show the Earth Care Farm one. That's interesting. It's all right.
Oh,
yeah. We can, if you go to the first slide, I can explain that. Yeah.
And it's also in the website magazine.
Yes. I did pass around, there's these magazines. This is Biocycle. This is kind of like the composter's version of Cosmopolitan or something. And we did get the cover story. It's from 2019, but it gives you a really good overview of our compost operation. It explains the process in really great detail. And it does show, we're one of the first compost operations in the country. My son is the only 3rd-generation composter that we know of in the world. We're really pioneers in the compost industry and have had a lot of time to work out any kinks in the industry. And we're considered the model in the industry. I host a podcast called The Composter. That's really dorky, but if you want to dive into compost, you can learn more about that. Just wanted to show you, but there's a lot of information on here that gives great details about what we're doing and shows the flow of what we're doing, which is exactly what we want to do on the new land at Sterling, the old Sterling Materials. So here, I live right in the middle of our compost operation. So that gives you a sign right there. my management style and how enjoyable it is to live in that proximity. I'll be living closer to any of it than anybody here in this room would be. It's a really joyful place to be. I hope that you really do come and see it. And then so we have trucks coming down here, dumping leaves and wood chips here. And then we have a process that works the material over the course of a year into our finished compost. And there's bags around of our finished compost, so you can see it. There's samples, you can take them home. If I don't have enough, let me know and I'll bring you one. And it's just you can see how tight our situation is here. And this is only about, is this like maybe 3 or 4 acres of this actual compost pad. So to have the 20 acres to work on is going to feel like such great breathing room. And I'm really excited about the good compost we'll be making over there. Yes.
Quick question.
Sure.
Because you live down in Charleston, Rhode Island, will somebody from your company living up here?
Probably me.
Can you
That's
repeat the question?
yes. Oh, yes. So the question is, will someone be living on site? And I'm blocking the screen again. Because I live in Charlestown, Rhode Island, and will there be someone on site? The answer is yes. My plan is to also live in Sterling. I want to be close to both sites. And we've gotten a place, it's a well-greased wheel, down in Charlestown. So I feel like I can now come up here and be present here. We also have 2 production managers at Charlestown, and they're going to just rotate in between here and Sterling so that we can make sure it's the same quality happening at both places. And so that's consistency. And we will be hiring as well. We're going to need more staff, but I want to keep that same input, that same integrity at both sites.
So we would expect somebody from your company to be here 24/7, roughly?
Yeah, it's going to take me about 1.5 years to get
Yeah.
permitted, but yes, that's the plan. Because I have those house lots. I would like to put a little house there.
That was going to be a question later on.
Okay. That's my plan. This summer, I'm doing a lot of camping there. I have done some camping already there, and I'm experiencing the loudness of it right now. Okay, so that was our facility. That worked fine. That's great. We can progress. So the next one is going to be on so safety concerns. So we've put it out to the community to feel free to write in some questions, and this was posted on some Facebook forums, so some questions have come in. I think I'm going to actually pull them here. So I wanted to start answering. So a big concern was odors. It's a very valid question about will there be odors on the site. So you see, I live in the middle of it, so it's not a consistent odor thing. It is like there could be a truck coming down with food scraps that on a hot summer day could be smelly like a garbage truck for a little bit, and then that dissipates. It's not a consistent odor problem. And I did so much research when citing this, checking out the prevailing wind directions and buffer land in case there ever was some odor. And we're just blessed with the prevailing wind direction. It goes to that northeast area, which is, well, it's actually just it's really the state forest. It's not. Yeah. Yeah.
And the town hall is right there.
Yeah.
No, the town hall's to the west. So we can pull up that overhead map, but it's also it's not like an odor thing all the time. It's not I think when you see the site and smell it, and I do encourage, someone said they would like to talk to my neighbors, please do that. It is not a constant challenge or anything like that. And the other thing is we're really down in that depression where odors, there's a whole science to it, but odors go to the lowest spot. That is, and we are that lowest spot because it's been excavated for so long. So if there was an issue, it's there. But if you did smell an odor, I want you to contact me right away because we have a lot of ways to mitigate that. And that's something, I mean, if you've been to Charlestown, it's much more densely populated than here. And we're celebrated by the community. We'll just please, we want to be very transparent about all of those things. Flies we got a lot of questions about flies, which is, okay, great, let's do it. Let's big dive. Back in the early 90s at our farm, we actually had a little bit of a fly problem because we were taking in food scraps and things. And my dad did a tremendous amount of research about the fly life cycle. And we learned, okay, what's the predator of flies? It's birds. And so we spent a summer putting bird houses up around the farm and planting habitat for the birds. Elderberries and lots of native plants that has berries for the birds. It took about a year to bring that into balance, but now we know the birds can handle the flies. And it's also, you can prevent the flies by not having puddles around the site. So at the end of every day, we make sure we backblade the pad where the compost is made, so there's not standing puddles of water, because flies do need that, and never having uncovered food scraps. At the end of the day, the entire pile is covered with wood chips and leaves, like a carbon material. So there's never standing food for those flies or anything that they could, there's nothing for them to eat, nowhere for them to get water or breed. So it's not been an issue. Again, I live in the middle of it, so I would not want to live with flies all over. But bringing in that bird habitat was really part of that too, which we're already planning to do. We're already propagating elderberries and getting excited to put that in them. So that was, there was probably about 15 questions about flies. Other pests, I think rodents, same kind of thing. Being out in that big open area, rodents don't want to run across open gravel like that. And I've noticed a tremendous amount of hawks. There's some bald eagles. There's all things around there that are really good at managing that, especially if there's open area. We have not had a problem with rodents at our farm. Also, it's just rural. It doesn't seem to be a big thing, but neighborhood dogs, could dig into the pile a little bit, but that there's leash laws, and hopefully, that's not happening. It hasn't happened at our farm.
No bears.
No, not yet. Yeah. Coyotes. Yep. So if the coyotes, we have coyotes at our farm as well. That also hasn't been an issue for getting into the compost. But if it was a challenge, there's these simple, like sort of like a mesh tarp that I can put over the piles where the active mixing is.
They are open game.
Yeah.
All year.
Okay. All right. Traffic, it has been a question that's come up a lot. So it's not going to be very different than what it was with the gravel bank. There are going to be some trucks coming in to dump food scraps and leaves and wood chips. Our hours are 8 to 4, Monday through Friday, seasonally Saturdays for customer pickups. And that's usually pickup trucks. There's actually quite a few Sterling residents that buy our compost, either get it delivered or come down to Charlestown already and get it. So, but that's a very short window in the spring where there's traffic from 8 to 12 on Saturdays. And it's not a tremendous amount, it's a little bit. And we're planning to use this more as the bigger manufacturing site, and the other one, the smaller retail pickups. We're not gonna have people going in there for one bag of compost, so there won't be that much traffic. Dust, it was a question that came up. There's going to be a lot less dust, because right now it's just an open sand and gravel pit. When it gets dry, it's very dusty. There's going to be piles of compost on there, so there'll be a lot less area for the dust to happen. And at our current site, we actually don't have it right now, but we have basically a fertilizer, like little, I guess you call it like a side-by-side with the wands that come out that we can put water in and just run around and spray water on the site just to keep dust down if that's necessary. And we're not creating dust. We're not excavating. The plan is to not have to excavate over there, so we can be we're making compost instead of doing that. Water runoff came up a lot. That's something we're very, very conscious about at our current sites. We worked extensively with our Department of Environmental Management it's just simply using berms and swales to make the water from the nutrient dense piles flow into retention ponds. We already have the retention pond on that site. And then, really monitoring when it rains that none of those berms or swales are breaching in any way. I'm very conscientious about the beautiful streams and rivers around there. Our farm borders on the Great Swamp, which in Rhode Island, which is a pristine, beautiful swampland that I have great respect and honor for, and want to make sure our nutrients are not leaching into there. And it's a very extensive permit process I'm going through with a lot of engineering. So there's going to be, I don't have that, I can't even start that plan until we go through this process. But that will be public information if you want to know how that runoff is handled. How am I doing with questions that were addressed? We could probably start diving into your questions. I think that we've addressed the 5 kind of big buckets of them that are there.
So we did get a question about the forever chemicals.
Oh,
and
okay.
like bacterial contamination. I
Okay.
think maybe just a little bit more about contamination and protecting water.
Sure,
I think
sure.
those were kind of.
There's a forever chemical called PFAS. It's a coating that's on pizza boxes, and when you stain proof your couch or your carpets, it's in any fire retardant stuff. And it's a concern for waterways for sure. And a lot of times, someone posted a link about compost and PFAS. Very valid concern. The PFAS are coming in with biosolids, which is human waste, which we're not doing. We're not going to be composting that, and paper pulp from those like pizza box companies and things. We also don't compost that. We are very, very particular about the inputs that we use, the resources that make our compost. We're using it to grow food for ourselves and our community. So there's a rigorous process of acceptance in order for materials to be able to brought in to be composted. And we have to go through this organic materials review process for the materials coming in. So we can't take in those things that would cause those forever chemicals, but that is a really valid concern. Yes.
Good question. You're talking about a compost pile there. Big enough to fill this tent area?
Yes.
How high do you think you're gonna be going?
Usually about 10 feet.
10 feet.
Yeah, it's the height of the loader, you
Yep.
know, yeah.
But the ground area would be out, the size of this tent area?
Yeah, about that, yeah.
And 10 foot up. Okay.
Yeah, and there'll be various piles. So there's they'll be in different stages. Yeah, so there'll be one that we're actively working with, and then after about 6 weeks, we stop adding to that pile. It's then just turned and managed for its year-long process until maturity. So there'll be a roughly 12 piles like this on that land.
We need to change the zoning of that property.
No, it's commercially zoned. It's
Commercial.
yeah, and it's and has agricultural zoning. It doesn't. Yes.
Another quick question from me. That second road that's over there that goes to that property, where they want houses,
Yes.
all of that borders my land.
Okay.
Are you going to be opening that road up?
The question is, will we be
Oh,
opening
yeah,
up the
sorry.
road?
The question is, will we be opening up that second road that goes to the house lots?
Yes.
Not anytime soon. It will be a great conversation we can have when we get there. This is a big task for me just to get the compost going. So I'm focusing on that 20 acres right now. But if something changes, if we need a barn over there or something, we'll talk about that because there's quite a few neighbors on that road.
And would you have another conversation with someone on the landowners so we know that the road's gonna be opened up if that's?
I'm very open to, I love connecting in conversation. So yeah, I think that I have to look at, it's like an easement, or I think we own part of it, but we can talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
We all have wells, I'm pretty sure we all have wells. Yep. And the aquifer.
Yeah.
Probably
exactly.
runs under that property.
Yeah.
How are you gonna protect that if you have a retention pond? Because retention ponds tend to leach into the ground.
So
And
Yeah.
you could definitely ruin our wells.
yeah. Okay. So the question is about how do we protect the wells and aquifer in the area?
We all have.
Yes. So the same thing at my site in Charlestown, we're on a well in the middle of the compost operation. I'm working with DEP to make sure that retention pond is going to be exactly what they want. Again, I can't even put the permit in yet, but it'll be extensive. At our farm, we have it lined. Originally it was lined, and we have 2 ponds. So if one fills, there's a second spillway. And we have a great process that 47 years we haven't had a problem with aquifer contamination or our wells being contaminated. I'm drinking from that. And for years, we just had a 20-foot well. And now we have a deeper well, but it's, we have very clean water. So
Because there's already a pond back there that you're.
I hope so. I have to, DEP is going to tell me what to do, but there's a retention pond that was put in, a man-made one for the gravel bank.
We used to skate there, I think.
And then there's an external over spillway before the river. So there's two, safe kind of things. But they'll know, they're going to tell me exactly how big, what materials I need to have, if it's lined or the layers of gravel or whatever's needed. So.
I think part of that pond runs behind my property, 4 acres down.
Okay. Yeah, it's
It's
pretty much in the middle of our property, so it'd be pretty far out.
I still have
Yeah.
a problem, the well problem.
What's the problem with it?
I think that we're gonna have a problem with our wells.
With the,
They
you don't have a problem currently.
All their wells were tainted.
Yes, so I wonder,
All of them.
is it, I think that's with the PFAS that you're talking about. So that's that forever chemical that we do not allow those materials in. So, yeah.
And you're 100% positive that nobody will sneak any in.
The thing is, it's everywhere. So PFAS are in your house. They're in our mascara. There's more PFAS in the dust in our homes than there are on any compost facility. It's part of our lives.
They're in the water bottles.
They're on your pizza box. You're eating off of it. They're on all the to-go containers. So like, I can't say the water's not going to PFAS, but it's not going to be from our compost,
Jayne, on the list of questions that we got from Facebook groups and the RSVP on the backside, you didn't specifically answer these.
Oh,
and
okay.
It's about intake.
Okay, so there's a question about what we'll be taking in. I can tell you what we're currently taking in at the farm. Am I blocking this? I guess it's okay. We take in leaves and wood chips. We actually don't really take in grass clippings unless it's from landscapers or homeowners that we know are not using usually using organic methods. We do take in manures. We take in like the Roger Williams Zoo manure and a bunch of horse farms and cattle farms manure. We take in coffee grounds from a coffee roaster. We take in the trimmings from a cannabis grow facility. We take in food scraps. What else? Beer brewery byproduct, the grain that's spent from that process. The industry changes a little bit as the industries around us change. What's considered waste products for them is our resource to make something really awesome for our soils. We'll be looking for materials. So I hope some of you have businesses that produce a waste that we can use and make a resource out of it.
Question.
Yes. I'm going to answer hers.
Yeah, right.
So basically, you're not taking in cardboard,
I'm not taking clothes.
so we wouldn't have to worry about PFAS on pizza boxes, because I know the transfer station here in Sterling, Voluntown, tells people, don't throw your pizza boxes in with the cardboard, because that is a concern, but they tell you just throw it away and
Yeah.
it's just trucked away.
Yeah. So yeah, we don't take in cardboard.
All right, so then that'll relieve
Yeah.
some issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good question. Yeah.
Go right ahead.
Okay. Well,
Who issues the license for this?
the Connecticut DEP. So there's actually 5 permits I'm going through right now. I'm really putting myself out on a limb. It's going to take me a long time to get permitted. It's just me. That's just me. Yes.
You say you're gonna be using roughly 20 acres down there.
Yeah.
And there are 200 plus.
Yeah.
What do you have in store for the excess acreage?
Again, like I'm still dreaming about that, but
Okay.
There's-
You're not thinking about putting some sort of racetrack or something down there?
no,
Yeah.
I'm more thinking about,
Yeah.
I know that's been, I'm more thinking about, oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, okay. The question is what's going to happen on the rest of the land? So I have to take this little bites at a time. So for me, I can only focus on that 20 acres. This is a big project for me. But the fields have me thinking about, at the farm right now, we grow rhubarb. It's a big crop for us. And I grow a lot of garlic. I kind of want to test what can we grow in those fields. Right now, it's just growing mugwort. If anybody has a solution for mugwort over there. But I don't know. I don't know. I would like to be growing food in the fields. I have a lot of ideas, but it's going to be at least 3 years until I have a finished batch of compost if I get through the permit process. So I'm not doing anything right now, but I'm open. I think like this could be a good community conversation of what the town needs or wants or what would bring value. It's very exciting. I was looking to rent 12 acres in Richmond, Rhode Island, and I ended up buying 241 here. So I'm thrilled at like the dreams that are out there for this.
Town be able to vote?
I don't think so. I mean, it's my property. Yeah. Yeah. The question is, will the town be able to vote on what I do on the land? And we can have forums and things, but it's my private property. Yes.
Does your property encompass the Amarillo farm?
I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with that term.
It's the farm just before.
Oh,
in
no,
front
on the
of-
other side of the road?
No, no,
No.
no, no. on the other
Oh,
side.
no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
That 10 acres there,
Yeah.
it does not. It does not. Yeah. It sure would. It sure would. Well, if it comes for sale, maybe I can do some crowdfunding or something.
Also, going to be taking in any sludge from wastewater treatment facilities?
No, that's a great question. Absolutely not. No, I want to make compost that I can use to grow food in. Oh yeah, sorry. I'm usually good at this. Yeah. Oh yeah. Because this is being recorded for Zoom, they can't hear your questions through here. There's people on here. So the question is, will we be taking in sewage sludge? And the answer is absolutely not. No. We're making compost to grow food in. So. You got a question?
Best case scenario, state of Connecticut, makes you jump through all the hoops that the state of Connecticut does to get a permit here. Everything's up and running, everything's going great. Business is booming. How many trucks per day? Bringing,
Okay, so the question is, assuming I get through all the hoops and business is booming, how many trucks per day would be maximum there? I would say like 25 large trucks. It's hard for me to predict right now, but that seems like the most I could intake there comfortably and, weighing, unloading, the time frame that would be. So I would say 25, yeah.
So better than 50 house lots times 2 to 3 cars.
Yes, and I'm actually already permitted to have, I think, how many trucks? 50 trucks a day for the gravel bank, which I'm not going to do. But yeah, that's already in there. So there's a question in the back, Stars.
A couple other businesses have been on that property, all had issues with dirt bikes, four-wheelers, excess of anywhere from teenagers to grown adults. Doing damage. How do you plan on handling that situation?
Yes.
out here?
So the question is, how do I plan on handling the dirt bike, four-wheeler trespassing situation? I would actually love some input from you guys. We're dealing with it. We've got cameras up, but people have helmets on. We have posted, they keep getting taken down. But I think what I'm hearing is the more I'm there and setting up, the less people are going to be there. And actually everyone I've talked to and said, oh, we just bought the farm, it has been very respectful. But we've also done something. So we're trying to prevent people from, they're using it as a cut through to get to the state forest in the back. So we're preventing that from happening. We're going to be putting up some fences across so you can't get through the property that way. But I'm going to be there. And I've had some awkward situations where I'm camping and it's 2 a.m. People are going through there and I come out with my crazy hair. So that's going to get awkward for people when I'm doing
I think
Yeah. Yeah, I'm tougher than I look.
I have seen on more than one occasion, automobiles, trucks, towing campers and trailers parking in your entranceway, offloading their stuff and going down there and Ray's house.
Yeah, well, now there's,
Right from out of town, Massachusetts place.
yeah.
It's mostly out of state.
Yep.
I have actually given the state police video of Rhode Island plated gentlemen cutting down trees
Wow.
from the Amaral property, trying to gain access to your existing,
Yeah.
and they did nothing. Oh, they're just innocent guys having fun. You're out there, they're out there with chainsaws,
Yeah.
cutting a wider area because the previous people, actually two people before, had put extra boulders and
Yeah, they
things
keep
like
getting
that.
moved and.
And
so,
yeah, and they do go out in the middle of the night, 2 o'clock in the morning, and move there. And that is a huge concern.
Yeah.
Joe Emerald's had difficulty with them.
Yes,
And,
yes,
yeah,
and I know we had a
Yep.
loader there that the windshield got smashed, so.
Yeah. They
Yeah,
actually bring large equipment to move it.
yeah, well, it's gonna get harder when I'm there more and
Yeah.
more and more, so, and I'm not afraid of them, so it's just like, we're gonna, we'll
You got
just.
neighbors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody.
And
Got neighbors.
I
Mini
really,
militia.
it will be nice, I know that Bill's had challenge, Bill's been such a great host, but, there's like wedding ceremonies and the bikes going by disturbing the ceremony, so hopefully there, I understand it's a fun sport, people want to do it, but hopefully there's a way they can get to the forest without cutting down here.
They're not supposed
not
to
even
be.
supposed
It's
to be.
illegal for them to travel in with vehicles
Oh,
in
yeah,
state
yeah,
forest.
Oh,
They're not
okay.
supposed to be
It's
there.
illegal.
Yeah.
I just redid the new trail and they screen by my house every day.
Yep.
We got one guy who goes down the road, he's done this for years, on his back wheel.
Our new neighbor running up and down.
yeah, well, it's gonna get better, but it's gonna be a challenge, yeah.
Yeah.
Cue the.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Yeah, you've got a question down there?
Is there gonna be a discount offer to
And the question is there going to be a discount offered to residents? I mean, we can talk about that. Like, in 3 years when I have compost. Yeah. Yeah. I love to barter. I love that. So if you have eggs or produce or anything, I love that.
Again, I live pretty close to where yours is, back of mine, right close to it, and the second driveway. Would it be a big deal, a normal work day, Monday through Friday, go down that driveway that borders my land and just take a walk back there? to
Yeah,
See what's going on?
yeah. You know what? I'll just shoot me a text, and because I'd love to give you a tour and show you what's going on there.
To see what's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think I'll give out my cell phone. It's on my truck, but I'll give out my cell phone too. So you guys, because I want you to contact me if you see a challenge or there's a smell or there's a trespassing or something. Yeah.
I'm interested in the eventual vegetation management surrounding your property.
Yeah.
Since it's a very disturbed area that's been left fallow for a while, I know invasive plants are definitely going to be all around that area.
Yeah.
And you're stuck in an interesting situation where you don't want to use effective herbicides to contaminate the ground, especially your compost.
Yeah.
You're going to be faced with a unique challenge with managing bittersweet, knotweed, heaven forbid, down there, and eventually getting into the compost as a point of contamination.
This is a great question. The question is thinking about managing the encroaching area, the borders for invasive plants. And that's near and dear to my heart. I already have been cutting the knotweed down just to, there's not that much knotweed in there. But I spent Friday, every time I have a minute, that's a downtime, I'm cutting out the bittersweet and pulling it. And, but yes, I'm really excited about bringing in natives along the border. Like I really could see where there's all this mugwort along the side. I can envision like just a beautiful hedge of elderberry coming down that driveway. Somebody in the neighborhood has goats. I would really like to talk to that person. That would be a great way for me to help manage the mugwort. Yeah. And so, but yes, it sounds like you have experience with that. And I'd love to pick your brain about ideas because 240 acres, it would be amazing if we could not have invasives there or really be managing them in a thoughtful way. Because
There's a couple questions, I guess, before the first one, just referencing the dirt bikes on the state forest, and that's something changed very recently. It is all illegal for dirt bikes to be on the state forest, but not ATV.
Okay.
That's something changed, I mean, very recently, that has been the case.
I actually work as a seasonal at the state forest, and we only allow 3 registered dirt bikes that are on the enduro trail, which are marked by the red arrow. ATVs are not allowed anywhere in the forest.
Correct.
And even on the enduro trail,
Okay,
but people will take their dirt bikes. ATVs not so much, but plenty of dirt bikes getting over rocks, taking chainsaws and gaining access, but that hasn't changed now.
Then, you know, with my question, that, are you gonna be hauling any gravel out of there?
so in the meantime, while I'm waiting to get permitted, I am hauling a little bit. I'm working with one contractor who's just slowly taking a little bit so I can pay the mortgage in the meantime, but it's not my long-term plans.
And you said you hope to eventually live there. Do you have any idea where on the property you'd be living there?
No, but they have those 3 house lots, so probably one of those. There's one that already, that's being completely. Every time I go there, I put up a no trespassing sign and then it's gone.
That's what I was
Yeah,
thinking, 'cause
yeah.
along with him, we live right next to where those houses are.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
great.
And lastly, in Charlestown, have you had to contract with professional pest management at all?
Professional pest management?
Yeah, for any pest issues, or you've
No.
all done it all now?
Yeah, we haven't really had a big issue with it. We had a seagull population for a while that would follow the food truck, the food scrap trucks in. And then these bald eagles came in and started nesting and they started picking them off and then it got the seagull population under control. I mean, it kind of, it'll fluctuate, but we generally just turn to nature. What does nature do to control things that are out of, balance and bring that in? So there's always a solution, but no, we've never dealt with had a spray or anything like that.
Are you currently getting material from Connecticut or is it all Rhode Island?
The question is, am I currently getting material from Connecticut? Yes. We do get like seaweed cleanup from Groton, leaves and wood chips from Stonington and Groton. Once in a while, like a crab material from that
Talk a
area.
little bit about the fish stuff that will be coming in.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going to be coming in yet, but in our Charlestown site, we do get like a seaweed clam belly sort of mix that comes in from New Bedford, and it makes an awesome compost. It's full of calcium, and we have a great process for immediately. It's dumped in a bowl of leaves and wood chips and immediately covered, mixed. Like within an hour, there's no odor, even if it comes in with an odor. But
There's no from fish processing.
well, that is fish processing. Yeah. So there's a company that does. They get the fish after the fish fillets have been taken. They make a dog food with it, and then we get basically what's left after that, which isn't much. It's like fish bones and things, and that comes in and great material for compost. But again, we're very quick. It's never sitting around. It's immediately put away.
Are you worried about the odor with that? Is that the company?
I guess odor, animals, everything.
Yeah.
Fish, that's wonderful fishy smell.
Yes.
Our fish delivery came in the other day and I was in the office and I thought, oh, today was a bad day to have brought smoked salmon for lunch. Cause it's really like turned my stomach. I was like, I'm gonna just wait. And then they dumped it and they drove off and I was like, oh, I can barely smell it. And I'm literally sitting like right.
10 feet, 20 feet away. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I live in it. Yeah. Yeah. I live in the middle of it. I did just want to show, this is the questions page and it's not really related, but this is the produce we're pulling off our farm. Our garlic cloves, we just pulled our garlic and I have some up there for you to see. They're just beautiful and big. I've been saving the seed from these plants for 25 years and it's just amazing what grows out of just soil that's been amended with our compost. This is my son who's now 16 with carrots he pulled out. They're just incredible. I mean, this is a sweet potato that was 6.5 pounds that I had a field trip at the farm. We dug these up and the kids were amazed at what came out of the ground. Quick story is that I ended up putting it as a joke into their school silent auction for their fundraiser. And a bunch of parents pooled together and it raised $6,500 for the potato. And then this is the rhubarb that we grow and sell. I mean, we just have incredible success growing produce from our fields laden with our compost. So I just want more of that. I want it growing to be enjoyable for people and good for the land. So,
You get a tax break?
do you get a tax break?
Yeah.
Probably not. I don't get one. So, yeah.
This is Connecticut,
Yes.
nobody gets.
It sounds like Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Action, but dying.
So I think that's the presentation. This is the last slide. This is kind of small, but if you want, you can go on our website, earthcarefarm.com. I have a lot of gardening videos. This gentleman said he has been watching our gardening videos. It's me and my dad talking about what we're growing. I have a podcast called The Composter, which I talked about earlier. And you can follow us on Instagram about what we're doing, what we're setting up at the time, things we're finding on the land. I just found some blueberries at the property down here. So exciting. Yeah, they're really good.
Berries and blackberries and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so great. And the fireflies at night, I'm loving it. I'm loving it here.
Beautiful out here.
Yeah, it really is. And I don't know, I'm falling in love with everybody here too. The post office, Maureen. So I'm really excited to really dig in and be part of this community.
Showing on the Sterling page.
Oh yeah, this is the website and this is this is information. This is kind of light on here, but this shows the public meeting today, a map of the property, and the site plan, our process for manufacturing, the permitting process, and all the hoops we have to go through. So.
Yeah, my biggest fear was it was gonna smell like earth grow in Franklin.
Oh yeah, no.
That was horrible.
I really do encourage you to come see it and smell.
Yeah.
Walk around, smell it.
Trust me,
Yeah.
right down my driveway.
You have a question?
Yes, we're your neighbors to the east,
Yes.
and this issue of the traffic, the motorcycle, the bikes and such. We've become a main entry to them.
Mm.
This has been a problem been here for 30 years. And, I guess one question I had, did you have any plans for fencing in the property? And this would be the side that is towards the
east.
state.
Yeah.
And then, we are Deerfield Shores on the east.
Okay.
And I just wondered if you had any, plans for fencing. I know it would be a tremendous job,
Yeah.
but that is a very vulnerable spot
It is.
for
Yeah.
us and for you.
Yeah.
And frankly, we've gotten very little support from the state
Yep.
and
Hmm.
nothing from the town, of course.
So the question is about will we be fencing, the plans for fencing. And I think we're just gonna have to see if when we do start setting up, if it eases, if the trespassing eases. Because it's such a big property, to fence it is a really daunting task. Even just hanging the no trespassing signs over 50 feet has been a daunting task. But there's been things we've been doing with rocks being placed and, logs across, making it a little harder. But yes, if it's a couple years from now, we're still having the same issues, let's talk about what would make sense. Yeah.
There, we could talk to us
Great.
too, because
Yeah.
it is a shared.
Yeah,
fence,
yeah,
And it is a problem.
yep,
Chances are they destroy that too. If they're moving the big boulders, a fence is nothing.
yeah.
What
Yeah.
would be helpful before we leave is for those who said like my property is right here up against yours, let's mark on the map where your property is in regards to ours and get your contact information so that if there's specific questions, we know how to reach you.
Or you can take ours and contact us too if you don't feel comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah.
far, you've been open about communicating and being in touch, and I have to say, I really appreciate that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
More
it's.
than we get.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just me and my family. You've met everybody that you'll see.
But
So,
there's really nothing to hide.
No.
and Everything to share.
yes,
So
totally,
communication is vital.
totally. I agree with you. Yes.
So if we see people we know that don't belong on your property, we can give you a call and let you know, because that was an arrangement I had, not the last guy, but the previous owner was actually out of New York.
Oh, yeah.
And I had I would give him a call
Yep.
and let him know, by the way, this is what's on your property, because the issue we had with the police through D is I need a complaint from the owner.
Okay.
So I would have to call the
Okay.
owner,
Shoot me a text.
thankfully,
Yeah.
and then he would talk with the police officer and say, no, they're not supposed to be there, like, duh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so
Okay, yeah,
he could
shoot me a
easily
text.
call you.
Yeah.
At least.
Quick
text you.
question, young lady, you have like an ID card, not an ID card, but
Like
a
a
card.
business
that
card?
says Address and a phone number or something like that.
I don't,
Right there?
I have a brochure and, yep, there's a brochure at the entrance there.
Right.
And there, the phone number on there is my office number. It's not my cell phone number, but I will pass that out as well. I don't have pens, but, how do we do that? How do we keep my cell phone number? Yep, yep, or on Instagram or anyway, but I'll happy to share that.
Question, as you know, this road is not that wide.
No,
What type of trucks are you?
yeah, they are the same types of trucks used that are coming in for gravel. So those,
The triaxles?
yeah, the triaxles, yeah.
How much do they weigh when they're full with
Um,
gravel? I mean, you take
They have-
gravel,
they have
you
to
can
be-
talk, you can go from anywhere from 56,000 pounds to
Yeah. Yeah,
whatever.
I mean, they have to be road legal, so, I think it's like, they can only haul maybe 20
Well,
tons or something like that.
With a triaxle, if you got the permit, well, 76.5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, cause if you're talking 25 trucks a day, which we limit our excavation areas to 25 trucks a day,
yeah,
but they're, like you said, they're heavy trucks.
yeah,
These roads can't take it.
yeah,
For-
been
repaired
a couple of times.
I mean,
Yeah.
before you know it, I mean, I live on Porta Pond Road and that road's ready to be done and we got Falls Creek Farm where, night is going down there, but you got these triaxles coming and they just tear up the roads.
yeah.
So how do we, what are you talking, every 5, 6 years, we gotta redo the road and we gotta pay for it?
Well, I'm really far off from that.
Well,
Really far off.
That's what they
Yeah.
say when,
Yeah,
yeah,
That's not, now, where's Night falling out?
What's
Down
that?
at Circle C? Night's truck.
Down by Cal Homestead.
well, you have, you got Knight, you got,
Stu, did you take a
place
picture
in
of this?
Plainfield, but, the state roads, we don't have to worry about.
Yeah,
But
we're
roads like
paying for it
this,
anyway.
Porta Pond, Woodland,
Yeah.
Yeah.
my road is, it's just getting torn up. We gotta do
Yeah.
it pretty soon. The
I
the
think-
northern half
I
of it.
mean, I have to talk to the town, but, I just paid 10 grand to the town for basically those things, so, that's part of my permit process. It's-
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Well,
part of our taxes.
Well,
Your
well, right
taxes.
now, we don't
Yeah.
make any money on these gravel trucks tearing up our roads. I mean, I don't mind the
Yeah.
business,
Yeah,
but when you're talking triaxles,
Yeah.
16 wheelers, 12 wheelers,
so it's a-
and they gotta
It's a
put
town-
all
it's a
3
town
sets of
permit thing,
wheels
so-
down.
But
we
it's
can
better
talk to them.
than 50 house lots times 2 to 3 cars every single day,
yeah.
morning and evening,
yeah.
still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
look at
yeah,
some
but-
of the roads, the edges are all,
I'm just gonna take this.
The little bridge down the road is repair again. Because the big trucks, they crack it and it's old.
Yeah.
And I was watching the other day when I went by, because I live right around the curve. And there's a wall in there that's gotta be 100 years old,
Oh.
old stones. And I said to him, are you gonna replace that with like a cement wall?
Mm,
No. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I
mm,
pay all this money to this town and this is what you get.
mm,
We're
Well,
repairing,
This is the second time in a year they've had to fix that bridge.
yeah.
we're repairing the
This is the only
bridge
way
because
to
it
come
wasn't
in.
done correctly.
you can't come in the other way to take your truck,
No,
the weight limit's
you
too
have to
much.
come in this way and you're gonna have to go over. Well, I don't know.
You
won't
can't
have
go
to
over that
the
bridge.
No.
Not with these
They
big
should-
trucks
They
anyway.
should limit it.
All right, I
We
think
just
that
did-
we
we're
did it. I
still-
think
yeah.
we,
And-
I really
It's not your
appreciate
fault.
everybody's time.
That's not
and,
her
um,
problem, that's a town.
But I really hope I see you all next Saturday at the farm,
Yeah.
at our
Sounds
farm
good.
in Charlestown.
And you
So,
say 10 o'clock as well.
10 o'clock as well, and the information's on the website, and, if you have any questions, you can
And wear boots, right?
wear boots. It's not muddy, but still, it's a, it's a
Supposed
farm.
to rain all week, so.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, you'll get to